course, the top 40 combinations from this competition that go forward, and they jump in reverse order of merit as well. So the winner from tonight, Max, will be in that pole position of going last, and that's going to be key, isn't it, come Saturday night in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. We say it all the time in return jump-off format. It always behooves a rider to go towards the end of the order, because that means when they come back for the jump-off, they'll go towards the end of that jump-off track. Of course, this week we've got 16 countries represented, highlighted by 35 American riders, the home country here, 8 Canadians, 4 Irishmen, and 2 representatives from Australia, France, and Great Britain as well, your home country.
Absolutely, and so many of the world's top 20 riders. I think we've got 4 out of the world top 10 as well, and that really just shows you how much the riders love jumping here. I mean, Santorini, Max, what a great venue.
Yeah, for sure. And, of course, ESI doing a great job getting this footing ready for our riders this evening. As you mentioned, not only 5 of the top 15 and 4 of the top 10, but, yes, world number 1 Kent Farrington in the field as well, and former world number 1 McLean Ward from the USA joining us in the show ring as well.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great class tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start with riders from Belgium, Mexico, USA, Colombia, Ireland, just in the first 6 there as well. It's a great course designed by Anderson Lima and his team, William Robertson, and, of course, Nick Granat down there as well. The masterminds behind this course this evening that our horse and riders are going to take. And as Max said, it is, of course, a jump-off competition. And that means that all of those that jump clear will return in the jump-off a little later. And as Max said as well, they will jump in the order that we see them go clear, or equality of faults in this, the first round. So we've spoken to you very briefly about the course, but there's 2 people down there who are going to give us some more in-depth course description. Delighted to introduce you to Derek Braun, the founder of the Split Rock Jumping Tour, a top rider himself, assisted by our reporter on the ground, Hannah Robson. So, Hannah and Derek, what have our riders got in store this evening?
Yes, thank you very much. It's fantastic to be here in the arena. You can see that the riders are just taking a look around the course, a good few different lines that they're taking in here. Derek, thank you so much for joining me for this. We're here right in the center of the arena, and there's some very interesting lines right around us. Anywhere particularly that's taking your eye, first of all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Anderson's built a really technical track today. It's going to ask questions from start to finish. Honestly, I think it starts off with the first line is even a test. It's always it's a question. Then right behind us here to the double of verticals, the second line, a little bit forward in 4 strides to a very delicate vertical. And then honestly, another test to number 5 at the split rocks, Oxer right by the gate. I think riders are going to choose between 6 and 7 strides. Right off the bat, it's going to get them.
And talk to us a little bit more then about this double of verticals. As you say, they're quite delicate. Those yellow cups that those poles are sitting on, they're something to look out for as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit of an optical illusion. Of course, the course designer set it strategically heading straight towards the out gate, which also encourages the horses to get a little bit quick and at the fence. I think you're definitely going to see some portions of this line come down a lot tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So very, very delicate point there. So we come then around fence 5 at the far end of the arena. And then just on the other side of us here, this horseflight fence. Again, it's quite airy and quite a lot of space between the poles. So again, quite eye-catching and possibly could be delicate too.
Well, I think when you're looking at a big picture, the course designer with the specs tonight at meter 50, you know, not necessarily meter 55 or meter 60, every step has to be technical. And you think you have a little bit of a break there because there's some time between 5 and 6. I'm sure the time is going to be a little tight. Again, that lures you into making a little bit of a mistake. And as you said, yellow cups, very shallow, only 3 very delicate skinny poles. Always a tough jump to jump clear.
Absolutely. And then immediately after, you know,
and another level of technicality of the course creates various faults throughout when people are rushing a little bit. So I definitely think that's going to play a factor.
For sure. So let's think then ahead to the week. Of course, this is the precursor, if you like, to that Longines FEI World Cup leg that we've got on Saturday. So it's so exciting, isn't it, to have that here and also to have a really exciting competition tonight to look ahead to Saturday.
Yeah, this is such a high-level event throughout the entire week, but this is the secondary feature event. So you have tonight and you have Saturday night. Tonight qualifies you for Saturday and also qualifies you in reverse order of qualification. So the winner from tonight will come back last on Saturday night, creating a lot of drama, a lot of great entertainment, and really top sport.
Fantastic. Well, really can't wait to see this competition kick off. It's really going to be so exciting. Some of the very best riders in the world are here. So I will hand back over to Sam, Gerard May, and to Max on the arena to take you through the action here in person.
Hannah and Derek, thank you very much indeed. A really interesting course description there from Derek Braun and from Hannah as well, really taking us through the key lines. And Max, the other thing to talk about is the time allowed. Derek mentioned it there. Just tell us the facts and figures. Talk to us about the time allowed in this one.
Yeah, of course, our course designing team measures the course with a wheel. They go around. It's been calculated here, 450 meters across the field from fences numbered 1 through 13. That comes up with a 72-second time allowed. Of course, we mentioned earlier the 3 doubles, as Derek mentioned, 4AB, 9AB, and 12AB out on the field. Watch those fences coming in and out of the doubles. Those may cause some issues tonight as they think of those combinations for the riders here this evening.
Absolutely. And the other thing to talk about is the rules. Now, many of you will be familiar with show jumping. If a fence goes down, that is going to be 4 foots on the scoreboard. Another fence 4, so we keep adding 4 for each fence down. Then they are allowed 2 refusals out on course. So, Max, what happens when they get that second refusal?
Well, of course, 1 refusal, just as a rail coming down, is 4 faults as well. A second refusal incurs elimination. We hope that riders don't have that, but of course, these jumps are very, very big. We're jumping for the winner's share of $100,000 this evening as well. And don't forget about the time allowed. For every second commenced over the time allowed of 72 seconds, 1-time penalty for each of those seconds.
And you mentioned big fences, but the other thing that really struck me here walking this course is those oxers are very, very wide. The horses really have to get back on the hocks, don't they, and really stretch as far as they can.
Yeah, which also enables, as we mentioned earlier, the distances in and out of those combinations is going to be important. That first line, fences 3 to 4, AB to 5, an oxer with the spread on the fence to the vertical combination, back to an oxer at fence number 5. That's a good example of stretching those horses out, bringing them back for the big verticals, stretching them out again over another oxer.
And as you say, this is the first big test. Yesterday, of course, very much the riders saw it as a warm-up. But tonight, they're looking to qualify for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. Do you think that will put some pressure on some of these riders this evening?
It may, but, you know, in America, pressure makes diamonds. So we'll see who rises to the task tonight and becomes that diamond in the $100,000 CSI 5-star welcome coming your way this evening, Sam. And we're looking so forward to it.
Yes, we are. We are really excited. And we know you're going to be too as well. Do make sure that you get behind the horses and the riders tonight when they come in the arena and when they leave as well, because they really do appreciate your support. So, ladies and gentlemen, we begin the build-up now, and delighted to have join us Shannon McGrain, appeared on season 11 of American Idol. She advanced to the 11th place with a single audition. She's opened and toured for various national artists such as Sheryl Crow, Chaka Khan, Siggy Marley, the Three Doors Down, and Deborah Cox as well. Ladies and gentlemen, could we ask you please to rise, to be upstanding as we hear the national anthem of the host nation, the United States of America.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please raise the volume, put your hands together for our anthem singer, Shannon McGrain. Well, getting set and ready to take you on to the very next part of our opening ceremony, the big build-up to the $100,000 welcome. Over to my colleague and dear friend, Max von Zimmerman.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the grandstand here Rick Tyree, the world-renowned Santa Anita Park bugler, as he kicks off tonight's event with a recognizable call to post. And thank you, Rick Tyree, joining us here to sound the call as we get set for the top of the order in tonight's CSI 5-Star W. It is the $100,000 welcome. And Sam, we've got a list here of 57 horse and rider combinations to challenge Anderson's Lima's course. Let's see how they do.
Absolutely do, and we have some of the very best too. We've got Olympic gold medalists, European champions, world champions, and some of the best in the world. We've got so many of the world top 10 riders here as well. This really is a feast of the very best of world show jumping. And remember, the best 40 from tonight qualify for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup, the big class here on Saturday night. Santa Anita, are you ready?
Sam, I don't think they heard you.
Thanks, you try. Go on, you can begin.
Come on, Sam, let's hear it for the top of the order. They're walking down $100,000 on the line. And of course, more importantly, that pole position, if you will, the winner tonight, will come back last on Saturday.
Absolutely will. Here is the first. We start with a combination from Belgium to get us off and running. The man who's the world top 15 rider right now. He's had some big 5-star wins this year too.
Good evening then, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Santa Anita Park, to this fantastic Split Rock Jumping Tour event. What an incredible week of 5-star action we have for you here. A beautiful arena set right in the center of the racetrack at Santa Anita Park. And this venue, of course, will be the host venue for the equestrian sport for the LA 28 Olympics. First of all, though, it is home to the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. And that is what we have here this week. That World Cup leg will be taking place on Saturday night, but this is the precursor, the second biggest event, if you like, of the week, the $100,000 welcome stake. And who better to kick things off for us tonight than Gregory Watherley. He's one of the highest ranked riders in our field, 15th in the world. And he brings forward Argentina de la Marchette. He finished 5th with this horse in the 3-star Grand Prix here last week. So he's had the opportunity to take a spin around this arena under the lights, and that can be crucial. He also won a 5-star qualifier. Oof, really had to push for the Oxer there. That's showing all of Gregory's ability. Only 3 strides between fences 7 and 8, so it's not quite a double combination, but not much more space at 3 strides only. Really using his experience. But as I say, he won a 5-star qualifier in Greenwich on the Major League Show Jumping circuit. Also similarly won another 5-star class in New York recently as well, and he really is having to push for these distances. He's going for the bold distance and kicks things off for us in a fantastic fashion. We have our first clear, but it certainly didn't come easily. And if it was quite the effort for the world number 15, Gregory Watherley, you can only imagine that it certainly isn't going to be the easiest of evenings for some of our less experienced competitors for sure. So, 1 clear already on the board, and that is what we're looking for here tonight. We're looking for clear rounds, of course, to progress through to our jump off. And what exactly is a clear round? Well, that means that competitors need to come home clear over the fences, so no knockdowns, no refusals, and they must do so within the time allowed that has been set by our course designer. Our course design team is led by Anderson Lima. He's at Longines Oxer to be rebuilt. Tricky point on course that we identified earlier on, that double of verticals at 4A and B. The gold poles, quite airy, little bit of an optical illusion. And so there really is a lot to take in this competition, and a lot of technical points, as there really should be for a competition as high caliber as this. Lots of the very best riders in the world to come. McLean Ward is to come in. And 1 clear so far, Gregory Watherley, somebody that we certainly would have had on the radar for a good performance, but it really did take quite a lot of effort. We turn over then to Carl Cook now. Carl, the world number 38, and crucially, last year's Longines FEI Jumping World Cup winner from this very venue. Caracol de la Roque is Carl's ride, of course, rider who hails from California. And he was a silver medalist, part of that incredible US team at the Paris Olympic Games. Finished 10th in last week's 3-star Grand Prix with his newer ride, Foxy de la Roque. Caracol, very much one of his key rides as he sails that split rock oxer there towards the in-gate. On the 5-star Grand Prix of Falsterbo this summer with Caracol. So this really does impact not only the qualification, but the draw as well. And last year's winner looks strong once again. Carl Cook gives us our second clear. And he'll go head-to-head with Gregory Wathelet so far into our jump-off. 2 already clear and through. Well, moving on from the USA, we turn to Colombia for your next starter. It's the turn of Nicolas Gamboa. Nicholas's mount is Twilight, who is a 9-year-old mare by Favorite ASK. Nicholas, a young rider, actually, on the under-25 world list. Jumped the World Cup leg at Traverse City with this horse. Had a couple of fences down to finish 24th. Horse was a former ride of the Danish rider Rikke Heineking, with Nicholas just taking over the reins this year. Had a couple of top 10s at Traverse City. Again, makes that turn back, just checks into the horseflight upright. And the 3 strides comes up really nicely for him on that short distance from the Sant Enzo. Swings now into this very eye-catching blue double. And this course is riding pretty well. So as well to add, he's a fraction over the time allowed. And of course, that is all it takes, mere fractions. And so he's over that 72 seconds. Up a single time penalty. So 5 the score. We'll go to McLean Ward next up. McLean with First Lady here tonight. Of course, another rider part of that fantastic Paris team. McLean ranks 11th in the world at the moment. He's had some good results on the World Cup Series recently. 10th in Washington, 14th in Toronto. Both of those results coming with Le Louvre. Also finished 12th in Traverse City with High Star Hero. First Lady, though, a 12-year-old man. He comes very nicely balanced down to the gold double. Just jumps a little to the right coming out. Had a jump-off class win in Washington with First Lady. And has won classes at WEF this year with her. Also had wins on the Major League circuit. Lightly built. McLean, as I say, world number 11. Always such a consistent rider. Comes down to the final fence then, and yes, it's another clear. He's just inside the time. And so 3 clear at this stage, 3 from 5, in fact. But 3 of the very best riders in the world will be coming back at this stage. Gregory Watherley, Carl Cook, now McLean Ward joins them. And your next competitor, another super strong competitor, Connor Swale, is into view. Of course, Irish rider here. And his mount this evening is Clontarf Obolensky. Connor's been right up there in the world's top 10 riders. Sits 35th at the moment. He's had a top 10 finish in a World Cup final previously. Also been a World Championship contender. And even more impressively, perhaps, on a very good run of form at the moment. He was the winner of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup in Toronto just last week. That with his horse Castorano. That combination were also 9th in Washington. And they were also 8th in Traverse City. So he really is on a flyer of a World Cup season. Clontarf Obolensky, a ride that he's had since about May of this year, but they've certainly had some very good results together already, and he really does rate this horse. They won the Francis Family Cup at Spruce Meadows in June and podiumed in the 3-Star Nations Cup at Traverse City in the summer. Also podiumed in a 5-star qualifier at Traverse City and placed 2nd in the 5-star qualifier in Tryon on the Major League circuit as well. Very much building up an impressive partnership. Connor's such an accurate and precise rider, and you can just see there, he's just absolutely textbook with the way that he sets up for the fences into the final line then. Remember, it's 72 seconds, so he could be just a fraction tight for time here. Let's hope not. And he's clear over the fences, a beautifully ridden ride for Connor Swale. Unfortunately, though, 2 time penalties will keep him away from the jump off. He'll slot into 4th place, but 2 for time only could still see him in with a chance of a strong finish. And his first Olympic Games appearance was in 1984 at the Los Angeles Olympic Games at this very venue. He's got an early 4 here, so sadly no jump off for him tonight. This 14-year-old gelding is quite strong-willed by the looks of it, but Mark really handles that very well. Looks to have a really good partnership. Well, from Puerto Rico, your next starter will be hailing from the USA. It is the turn of Olivia Cliver. And Olivia's mount is Connor 69. Well, safely through that. Oh, no, excuse me. Just the final pole goes. Very unlucky. She is inside the time, though. She had quite the pace up for some time there. So Olivia Cliver and Connor 69 comes home with that score there. of 16. So she'll slot into 6th place at this point. Oh, what a shame. Just that first fence. That was so unfortunate. Just a little bit, it's not quite snappy enough with the hind legs. She didn't do a huge amount wrong there. This combination were 3rd in the 2-star Grand Prix at Woodside at that new Split Rock show. Oh, but unfortunately, oh, no, she was doing quite well there. Nearly held on, but at the Split Rock Oxer, sadly parts ways with Diamonto JTZ. So sadly that will incur elimination for Ansley. We do hope that everything is okay for Ansley and Diamonto. Looks like they're both safely up and on their feet, which is great to see. Well, from our starting order, 3 have gone clear so far. Gregory Watherley, Carl Cook and McLean Ward. Connor Swale sits 4th with just 2 time penalties. So 3 clear from 9 starters so far. As we welcome Michael Duffy to the ring. Michael, of course, bidding now to become our 4th clear. Michael brings forward this 9-year-old gelding B Skyhawk. Ranks 157th in the world. Most recent show with B Skyhawk was in Tryon, where he had a fantastic week. He was 8th in the 5-star Major League Grand Prix and was part of the winning team, part of Team Helios on the Major League circuit. Also had a 2nd place in a 5-star speed at the LGCT New York show. Also finished 4th with this one in the Major League 5-star Grand Prix in Traverse City. Very bold jump at 3. Michael gets that energy back under control. Very experienced rider. And the Irishman showing no signs of being fazed by this evening's weather. It is a little damp out there. But footing holding up perfectly. Really good conditions in the arena. And fantastic atmosphere, of course, jumping under lights. We'll be doing that as well on Saturday evening. So 72 seconds is the time allowed, and Michael Duffy is just slightly pushing it here. No, he's going to come home just inside and gives us our next clear. He is indeed your 4th to come back for the jump off. It's a very good time as well. So 4 will now return. Michael Duffy, cool as a cucumber, getting the job done. Very nicely indeed. Other competitor for the USA now, it is Rachel Long with HH, Diamond Blue. "12-year-old stallion here under Rachel's saddle. She's had this ride for just over a year now. Top 10 in a 2-star Grand Prix in Thermal, very forward to that first racing Oxer. 4th in a 3-star Grand Prix in Tryon in the summer. They are seriously speedy and, yeah, just unfortunately a little bit too pacey into the Longines Oxer. And it's down. Rachel does have to work quite hard here to maintain the control. Just when she can harness this energy, she really does give us a fabulous picture. And sadly, through the double as well, just towards the end of this. And the final fence goes as well. But look at that time, just over 68 seconds. She is pretty speedy. But Rachel Long comes home with a score of 16 all in all. Very big fences here. Of course, they're up to heights at 1.50 meters. Well, once again, for the USA, we welcome Caitlin Campbell now. Caitlin's mount is Carius. Caitlin speeding around the early parts of this track. She's in the world's top 100 riders. 15th in the World Cup in Toronto. 22nd in Washington. Those results coming with Castlefield Cornelius, though. And Carius is a slightly newer right. This one since March of this year. Came from Portugal's Bruno Diniz das Neves. But she's finished in the top 5 in 2-star Grand Prix with this horse. But sees a huge shot at fence 11 and sadly can't get to the back rail. Really stood off that fence. But she's home inside the 72nd mark, but it's fence 11 that has gone. She's really kicked the pole out quite some way. So just a score of 4. We welcome Vanessa Mannix to the ring now for Canada. And Vanessa's ride is Carmela Z. Her 14-year-old mare that she owns herself. She ranks 200th on that Longines world list. Was contested the World Cup final last year. Competed Le Havre in last week's Grand Prix. And Carmela for top 10 in the 3-star speed. She took a win with Carmela, though, in Vancouver quite recently in a 2-star competition. She was part of the 3-Star Nations Cup team for Canada at Traverse City as well, team finishing 3rd. She sees quite a deep one into the double. Interesting to see how that affects her line then to 10. She just took it a little bit further to the right, just kept things a little bit wider there. Rub, but no problem for Vanessa. Coming home very strongly here. And again, she's keeping the efficient line, not wasting a second. And perfectly done. She really does have a great ride there and comes home with another clear for us. So Vanessa Mannix gives us the 5th clear at this point. So 5 clears already is really quite a few, actually. 5 from a total of 13 competitors. 44 remain on our list, and certainly plenty more very strong combinations to see. The leading under 25 rider in the world, Nina Malave, is to come. The reigning European champion Richard Vogel still to come, and many more as well. World number 1 Kent Farrington, he is yet to come forward as well. Katie Laurie then is your next competitor. Katie hails from New Zealand and comes forward with Django 2. Combination was 6th in last week's speed class, 16th in the Grand Prix, but just a single fence down. 7th in the 5-star Grand Prix at Spruce Meadows. And plenty other good results on the West Coast as well. 5th in a 3-star Grand Prix in Vancouver a little while ago as well. Katie's certainly making a good shot at this. She is on the 4. Again, she keeps that right-handed line down these final few fences. She will be inside, but it's just that single pole for Katie Laurie and Django 2 into 8th place with a good time. All right, Peter Peschenig is your next starter for Austria, of course. With Annabelle van het Posthuis, 16-year-old horse here. One of the more established ones in the field, and he's a big striding horse. 3rd in the Grand Prix last week. And we've seen this combination quite extensively on the Split Rock circuit. He's also taken this horse over to Europe to compete in venues like Rome and Le Bourne. In fact, they were 10th in the 5-star Grand Prix in Rome, that coming last year. They also were 10th in the World Cup here last year. 3rd in the 3-star WEC Grand Prix in July, and plenty more good results besides. Oh, what a pity. He's deep into the double and both elements down. But with a big striding horse like this, some of these distances really are quite short. He's bravely battling on. How's that score of 12 now? Well, over to this final fence, a little bit tight for time. Takes it down as well. So 17 the final score for Peter Peschenig and Annabelle van het Posthuis. They go into 12th place, so 4 fences and just 1 time penalty to add as well. Just over 40 still to see. Very well attended competition again. We had quite a large number in last night's 2 phase as well. That, though, proved to be a really great competition, with the win being taken by Matthijs van Asten. We go to Kyle Tim now with Glamour du Chanu. Another competitor for Canada in the world's top 400. 8th in the World Cup in Toronto last week, though coming with Casino Calvin. Glamour du Chanu has been his ride over in Europe, most recently in Spain and in Ireland in the summer, as well as Dinard, Chantilly, Fontainebleau, had a good 3rd place in Fontainebleau. Le Ball had a 9th place there as well. I have to say the rain is starting to set in a little heavier here, but it really doesn't seem to be affecting our competitors. Quite uncharacteristic weather for this area, of course. Used to those beautiful California sunny skies. Kyle Tim really jumping very nicely around here. Certainly a lot to like. Glamour du Chanu, remember, just 9 years old. Breeding-wise, this horse is Salle Francais by l'Arc de Triomphe pour Amago. And a really nice round. That was pretty solid. That was a really, really lovely performance. Kyle Tim then sub 70 seconds, but crucially he is clear, and he will give us the 6th clear just from this first section. We go to Elisa Bros next, rider for the USA. Elisa's ride is Nas B, horse who is by Toulon. Well, Elisa off to a strong start here, clears that Longines Oxer. Huge jump there, now gets the control back for the golden double. Has ridden quite well, actually. We thought that would be quite a technical point of the course, but Elisa manages it well. She's a 25th ranked under 25 rider in the world. Oh, what a pity. She just gets a bit close to the Sant Enzo. Front rail goes. Super tricky. And a medalist at the North American Youth Championships a couple of years ago. Well, she picks up 1 time penalty as well, so 5 the final score for Elisa Bros and Nas B. 72.87 on the clock. So one penalty for every second started, of course, over the time allowed. We welcome Laura Kraut then to the arena now. Laura, the world number 8. Laura, the only female rider in the top 10 at the moment, but very much one of the best riders in the world. Bisquetta is her ride. She was the winner of the World Cup in Washington with Très Bien Z. Biscetta was her ride for the Longines League of Nations final in Barcelona. Also podiumed in the 5-star Grand Prix in Saint-Tropez and won the 5-star Grand Prix in Dublin in August of this year. She's also part of the 5-star winning Nations Cup team in Rome in May. And earlier this year was 4th in the World Cup leg in Thermal. So lots of extremely impressive results on this 11-year-old mare's record. And oof, she really used her body incredibly well to get her balance back there to really collect Biscetta. Well, Laura Kraut then down to the final fence. Never in question, really, for this combination. They are your latest clear. She gives us now 7 coming back through to the jump off. Laura is the 3rd American rider to be coming back, but now 7, yes, through to the jump off already at this. Well, we're approaching about a third of the way through. We've brought you 18 now. Sophia Siegel will be your next starter. And Sophia is your final competitor before we take a short pause. Sophia's mount here is Unchained 2. Sophia's mount here that she owns herself is by Uriko, out of a mare by Quidam de Revel. Just a pole and a little bit for time in last week's Grand Prix. See her there in her NAYC jacket. She jumped that as a junior back in 2017 and jumped the World Cup final in 2024. Relatively new ride for her, horse who was competed in this this week of competition by Harley Brown of Australia last year. In fact, they jumped the World Cup qualifier as well. And Sophia is really having oh, what a pity. I was about to say having a really great run here. Just that final fence catches her out. So just a single pole, but it will put her into 10th place and sadly out of the running. She's out of the jump off in any case. So 7 have qualified for our jump off at this stage. And they are Gregory Wathelet, with Argentina de la Marchette first to go in the first round, and he was already clear. Carl Cook with Caracol de la Roque, last year's World Cup winner. McLean Warden, First Lady, world number 11. Michael Duffy and B. Sky Hawk there for Ireland. Vanessa Mannix and Carmela Z. Kyle Tim and Glamour Duchanu. And finally, the world number 8, Laura Kraut with Biscetta, has qualified as well. 7 then coming back at this stage, and this is the list of them once again. You can see seriously fast times from the likes of Carl Cook and Gregory Wathelet, and could that be a precursor to their pace for the jump off? It certainly could look that way. So we are now a little way through this competition. We've brought you just under 20, and we have 38 remaining on our starting order. We'll take a couple of breaks during that. So we look forward to bringing you the rest of the action in just a few moments' time. We'll take a short drag break now. We'll be back in just under 10 minutes' time, about 8 minutes' time.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
European champion and individual and team Olympic medalist.
Believe. Believe in your dream. Believe in yourself. Believe in the beauty of special moments. Believe in trust, care, commitment. Always believe.
At ESI, we are more than your average arena. We help take your dream and make it into a reality, no matter the size or location. From designing and building to maintaining your equestrian needs, choose ESI to help you realize your equestrian dreams.
At the end of the day, good footing is the best thing that you could offer your horse.
At Horseflight, we have carefully put together a team of professionals to be there for our horses and clients. We are horsemen and horsewomen first, so it's easy for us to treat your horse like our own.
We take pride in providing the best customer service in the industry.
Once you get to know our team, you'll see that it makes a difference. When you're ready to get your horse home, visit us at horseflight.com.
Dreams are worth protecting, wherever that dream may lead. At C. Jarvis Insurance, we share your dream for equestrian sports. C. Jarvis Insurance is the leading international equine insurance agency in the world. Our team of professionals is here to assist you 24/7, and we offer worldwide coverage for all aspects of equine insurance, including traveling racehorses, show horses, Olympic competitors, and broodmares. And we are fully licensed in the US and all EU countries. We are owned and operated by a family of horsemen who support and give back to our horse community. So you can rest assured that we have a pulse on the industry and will look out for you every step of the way. It's time to protect what truly matters. C. Jarvis Insurance.
They're off in the Pegasus World Cup. It's all about Nick's go. City of Light keeps going. Arrogate. What a horse! They ran him off their feet.
Longines. Elegance is an attitude.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this $100,000 welcome class. Hugely exciting competitor, one of the very best riders in the world at the moment. This is Nina Malave with Dynasty de Beaufort. Nina, the leading under 25 rider in the world, and she ranks 17th on the Longines world rankings. Dynasty is a 12-year-old mare, and very lucky rub there. Clear? So 8 riders qualifying now for the jump off. Of course, we're looking for clears inside the time allowed, which is 72 seconds, and that will get them a spot in the second round. Have a momentary pause while we await our next competitor. Just there next to the in-out gate, you can see that very well situated Kiss and Cry. And next to that is the Riders Lounge, which is quite packed out this evening. Riders can grab themselves a bite to eat or a refreshment. And just from the angle you are viewing the arena, there is a beautiful VIP pavilion with fantastic hospitality on offer. So if you are able to join us later in the week, do come down. It's set to be an incredible evening on that World Cup leg on Saturday. It'll kick off at about 6 p.m. again, local time. We welcome, though, the reigning European champion now, Richard Vogel. Richard's mount is Con Quality. He also is the world number 6 at this stage. Incredible level of consistency for this man. Had a pole down in Stuttgart at his most recent World Cup leg. That was last week. Was 5th in Verona with Claudio. 10th in Lyon with United Touch. Of course, United Touch, one of his very top rides. But Con Quality here as a 9-year-old gelding that is getting ever stronger for Rich Mid. Isn't quite going his way this evening. Just wait for confirmation of that score. Certainly the final double combination coming down there. And yes, indeed, a score of 8, but Richard Vogel out of the running. Stella Wasserman is next on course with Precious de Vershagen. Combination for the USA. Horses by Knott of a mare by Casal. Stella ranked 60th on the under-25 world list. There's a couple of very exciting horses in her string at the moment, and this 10-year-old mare, perhaps her top ride at this point. They were 4th in the American Gold Cup in September, 4th also in the 5-star winning round at that same show. But this horse was a ride for Olivier Philipparts, and he took this horse to a 6th place in the World Cup in Mechelen over in Belgium last year. What is it? Well, Jean Cedran is coming forward now for France. World number 64. Her mount is Nopal van Tayert. Oh, what a pity. Yeah, very much. Oof, goodness me. She's done really well to get that back together for the double. Really thought she'd completely lost her balance there. Jeanne, the 3rd best or 3rd highest ranked under 25 rider in the world. And unfortunately, she's just misstepped there at the horseflight fence as well. Clearly feels something isn't quite right, and the hand goes up. It's not retire, in fact. Reapproaching to fence 7 and gets the balance for 8. She's powering on then. Of course, this will be quite costly in terms of time now. Well, 38 then, the final score for Jean Cedran and Nopal van Tayert. A little bit of an uncharacteristic performance there. And into 21st place. Australia with Oaks Milky Way. Brilliant to have these fantastically experienced horses in this competition. Oaks Milky Way very much is one of them. She is 18 years old. She's by Clearway and owned by Alice Cameron. But crucially, she was Hillary's Paris Olympic Games ride and Grand Prix in Vancouver. Also jumped the World Cup leg in Gothenburg earlier this year, as well as in Bordeaux. She's quite steady here. Looks like she might pick up some time, unfortunately, but beautifully clear over the fences. So nothing to add on that front, but 2 time penalties for Hilary Scott will put her into 10th place. Nicely ridden round, just a little steady on the pace. Goes a bit more carefully here tonight. This year, top 10's coming in Ottawa. Ah, what a pity. It's the golden double once again. Slightly running on down. Just on the 4 for Sarah. Very good over that C. Jarvis fence. Oh, this is a real shame that she clipped that golden double, but it really is one of the most tricky points on course. All right then, well, at this point, we have had some very, very strong combinations come forward, and 9 are clear now. Stella Wasserman was your latest clear. 9 on the list. Zazu Hoffman will be your next starter with Bloom du Plessis. Formulation's last show was in August in Del Mar. Had some good results coming in thermal in the early parts of this year and the back end of last year. Placed 13th in the welcome stake here last year with just time penalties only. And unfortunately, that second double combination is down. 2 on the board for Zazu. Just this over in Brussels. Prior to that, in the Netherlands. Also have competed in Traverse City. Oh, what a pity. The first fence goes for Genevieve. Sometimes the first fence can just really catch you out just when you're not expecting it. She's been part of the Major League circuit. Was part of the 4th place team in Toronto on that series. Well, unfortunately, it's she lost her balance a little bit there, but she's done very well. Erin's mount is Fave Dorthuy. Ten-year-old gelding here by Kornert Obolensky, owned by Ilan Ferder. Always so competitive. 44th in the world at the moment. She was 17th in the World Cup in Toronto. Still 9 clears on our list. Very well attended competition here. The rain's certainly not putting any of these riders off. We still have 29 to bring you. Cali Shot then, next on the list. With Garant. 14-year-old gelding who is by warrant out of a mare by Verdi and is owned by Southern Archers. This combination won the welcome class last week. Chips in a bit to the first fence and now really powers through to the second. Also finished second in the speed class last week, so there's certainly an arena that seems to suit Garant. Placed 11th in the World Cup here last year, just a single pole down. And she's also taken wins this year in a 3-star Grand Prix in Traverse City. She's just jumped at Traverse City and the Longines League of Nations final in Barcelona, and then here last week so far this year. So lightly competed. Garant's had a little bit of time off. Oh, what a pity. Forward then through the double. And it's down. Well, just the one for Cali Shot and Garant. So Callie sadly out of the running today after taking the welcome class win last week. Not her day today. Still for the USA then with our next rider. This is Catherine Dynan with Out of the Blue SCF. Working on the 4 still. It's the first fence. So unlucky. Give it over the delicate upright, but very eye-catching multicoloured poles. Safely over the final fence, and that is so unfortunate. Clear everywhere else. But just the first fence goes for Katie Dynan and Out of the Blue SCF. So a score of 4 and into 17th place, with her time taken into consideration as well. So still at the moment we have 9 clears. Let's recap them for you. Gregory Watherley, of course, he was first in. He's followed by Carl Cook, McLean Ward, Michael Duffy, Vanessa Mannix, Kyle Tim, Laura Kraut, Nina Malave, and Stella Wasserman. They are your 9 returning. Lazarotto and Lara Postillon earlier on, French competitor. Keeping a good pace up here. Aiming for a fast 4. Flies the final fence, and she's inside the time, and she just looks up like she's a little frustrated there with that single pole. Savannah Jenkins and Hector Duterre then come home in 18th place for now. Combination had a couple down in last week's Grand Prix, but jumped well in the qualifier for 11th. Just clips the golden, the first of them, in fact, of those golden verticals. That tricky double. They've got to be very accurate there. Of course, they're running down to the in gates, and they are delicate fences, but you can see that Venom has such a big stride, and they do very well to come safely through that 3 striding distance. Oh, and what a pity. Again, now he's just getting a little touch flat through the combination. Had a huge result earlier this year. 2nd place in Spruce Meadows. In that huge Grand Prix. Very competitive and very prestigious competition for Kyle to pick up his 2nd place there. His mount today is Cayenne Z. Rides strongly to the final fence then. Kyle King on a score of 8. That puts him into 22nd place. Two down in last week's Grand Prix. She's had top 10s in Del Mar and in Temecula, as well as in Thermal. Of course, that Desert International Horse Park, fabulous venue that will see the Major League Show Jumping Series in a couple of weeks' time. stood off the C. Jarvis Oxer there. But this is going particularly well for Laura Height. Oh, what a shame. It's just that penultimate fence. And she was really working hard for the final as well, and just over the time too. Looked a little bit tight down the final line. So 5 the total score. That will put her into 20th place. 4 remain then before we take a short drag break. But we have 23 more to bring you. Very well attended competition, as I say, and at this point we have 9 clear. And certainly it's those riders that have qualified for the jump off are some of the very strongest in the world. None more so than this man, Kent Farrington, world number 1 is into view. He proves himself to be almost unbeatable in many competitions that he contests. He's achieved a record equaling number of 8 5-star Grand Prix wins in a single year in 2025. He would very much like to break that record and achieve 9. Could be the week this week. He's come very close a few times recently, podiuming, but just not quite taking titles. Tolina then is his ride for today. Tolina, of course, one of his horses for last year's World Cup final, where he finished 4th. She's an 11-year-old mare. She's by too long. He won the 5-star Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix of Greenwich with Tolina. Also was 2nd in that same series Grand Prix in Toronto. Won the World Cup in Thermal with Tolina last year. And at this venue last year, he was 13th with her, single pole dropping. He just has such an incredible roster of horses and targets them so well at their competitions. That seems to be one of... And his ride is Clear Heart. 10-year-old Clarimo Stallion out of a mare by Heartbreaker. And this one is owned by the Cherokee Sport Horses. This horse was a former ride of Thibaut Spitz of Belgium, and then went to Jov Reading of the Netherlands for a while, now with Jamie since the summer. Since June, in fact, when this horse was purchased by Cherokee Show Horses. On the world list at the moment. Again, not much he hasn't achieved in his career. This one has been in Mexico with Kian. Most recently, they took a 2-star win in San Miguel de Allende at the 2-star level, and then a 5-star speed win in Monterrey. Double. Front hooves take the front rail. But yeah, he was only competing this horse in the young horse classes in the summer of this year. Now they're already onto these top 5-star level competitions. Plenty to like, and certainly going to be a talent for the future. Just a couple of small mistakes for Cian O'Connor to pick up the 8 penalties. He will drop into 26th place. Your next competitor is the last before we take our second drag break in this competition. She represents Ecuador. This is Ana Cristina Gansauer. This evening's ride for her is Loyalton. She's a 2-time Pan Am Games rider. 2022 and 2023. 2023. So I believe actually the 2022 are South American Games. Jump the World Cup leg at Traverse City for 31st place. Ninth in the welcome class last week, just picking up time penalties. Again, she's only had this horse for about a year. Very much getting some good results now together. Some top tens comes to the front rail. Well, a fraction over the time as well for Anna Cristina Gansauer, but 2 poles and 1 for time for her for the Ecuadorian rider. She will go in to come forward for our jump off, and plenty more good combinations to come as well. Yesterday's winner, Matthijs van Asten, will go early in this final section. And we also welcome talents like Charlotte Jacobs, Natalie Dean, Ali Ramsey, Jessica Springsteen, Skylar Wyman, and many more very strong.
When you're ready to get your horse home, visit us.
Every step of the way. Steve Jarvis Insurance.
And they're off in the Pegasus World Cup. It's all about Knicks Go. They ran them off their feet in the Pegasus.
competition being very hot, jumping number. Not only the winner's share of $400,000, but also those ever important 20 points qualifying for the World Cup final, April, Fort Worth, Texas. One World Cup finals, that is going to be the Longines FBI Jumping World Cup, Wrestling World Cup as well, next year as well, in April. The water show, that is going to be a match. We are both going to be there, and it's going to be a great event, isn't it, the World Cup finals? It is. Looking forward to teaming up with you at that event as well, Sam, and of course, all those riders that qualify, including perhaps maybe even this rider from Germany. But
could it be top 10 both podium five-star Grand Prix wins this year in New York as well? Riding the 12-year-old by Ghana, Chris Corsica, Germany's René Dimmer.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to this $100,000 welcome competition. Very, very hotly contested class here this evening. We have a brilliant lineup so far in our jump off. 10 qualified, including the world number 1, Kent Farrington, world number 8, Laura Kraut, world number 11, McLean Ward, Carl Cook, last year's winner, world number 15, Gregory Wathelet. They are all qualified for that jump off. And René Dittmer is going to attempt to become the 11th clear next through to our jump off. René, of course, a rider hailing from Germany. He's the world number 67 at this point. And Corsica X is his mount, of course, with whom he won the Highlands Cup Grand Prix, 5-star Grand Prix on the Major League Show Jumping circuit. He was also 12th in the World Cup in Washington with this horse. And René was 4th in Toronto with Cody 139. So again, very strong combination to contest tonight's class. This is the precursor to that World Cup leg. Oh, what a pity. That has been a really tough point on the course. The Sant Enzo Oxa at 7 has come down more than most others tonight. But yes, this competition, the precursor to that World Cup competition on Saturday, this is the second most hotly contested, if you like, and great prize money on offer. Again, $100,000. René just easing down with Corsica's natural speed to the final fence. So a single pole, it is, of course, fence 7. The Sant Enzo, the back rail went there. And he goes into 14th place. Good time for him, but no jump off. We welcome next Alexandra Biederman for the USA with Cornet's Cookie. Well, Alexandra's mount here. Cornet's Cookie, as I say. Have quite an interesting way of going. What a pity. She takes a very early pole. Cornet's Cookie has this quite high head carriage, but it's really lovely to see them building such a good partnership, and despite that more unusual way of going, they certainly don't let it affect them, and they certainly work so well together as a team. She's a 10-year-old mare, and she's helped Alexandra to some good results in Vancouver. Last week, they just had a pole and some time in the 3-star Grand Prix for 18th. quite swiftly over to the double at 12, and she's lucky to, oh no, got away with the rub at A, but not at B. Bit pacey there. So she'll pick up a bit for time here as well. In fact, 3 once again. So 8 for jumping, 3 time gives 11 for Alexandra Biedermann. And she is into 31st place, I believe. The Netherlands is the nation represented by our next starter. Just to confirm, Alexandra Biedermann indeed into 31st. The Netherlands represented by Matthijs van Asten. Matthijs was yesterday's winner in that opening 2-phase class. He's a brilliantly fast time. He was about 2 seconds faster than his nearest rival. Particularly impressive since there were nearly 90 combinations in that class. So he bested fantastic selection in terms of number and quality. Last week he was second in the qualifier, or the welcome stake, I ought to say, with Vedette DKZ. This ride here in front of you. Matthijs has been competing in Europe most recently at Oliva, Liège, Kronenberg, Maastricht, just to name a couple. Those appearances coming with there's another section of his string, really. This horse performed well in Lichtenvoorde in the summer, as well as in a Kala 5th in a 5-star winning round earlier this year. Just seemed to stand off that double combination a little bit. Unfortunately, both rails have gone at the A element. No extra penalties for that, though, of course. You just need to lower the height of the fence to pick up your 4 penalties. But he certainly can't win in show jumping every day, and Matthijs van Asten is feeling the effects of that. 4 for jumping and 2 time penalties for him today. He'll slot into 24th. Well, Cassidy Rain comes forward now for Canada with Jack. Just outside the top 300 on the world's under-25 list. Team 5th at the North American Youth Championships this year with her horse Habab W. Jack is a really great partner for her. But Cassidy had a fantastic result in Toronto, 3rd in the 2-star speed challenge there. Coming with Diablotine jump. Jack then, her 11-year-old gelding, came from the USA's Julie Wells. With this very talented Canadian young rider. A couple of top 10s for her. Oof! I was going to say in Toronto, and just really lost her footing there, and a bit of a miscommunication. She's still through the flags though, so she's still going to continue. And of course, a very problematic fence there, the Sant Enzo Oxa. Lots of riders have fallen foul of that particular line. Of course, there's only 3 strides between those fences. It's a very technical point on course. See, Jarvis fence goes as well. In total, then, it's 30 for Cassidy Rain with Jack. She slots into 39th place. We have 15 remaining in today's competition. Well, in the first round in any case. And remember, at this point, 10 are qualified for the jump off. Sahana Ganasan will be the next to tackle this very tricky track set by Anderson Lima, together with Nick Granat and William Robertson. Sahana, another under 25 rider, just outside the top 250 on that list. Former team gold medalist from the North American Youth Championships. That was back in 2019, where she competed in the children's category. Sadly, the first fence goes then for Sahana with My Ferrari. Real pity, but it has gone down a good few times, actually. Just looks a little innocuous but it's off a turn with not too much room, and it really has fallen a fair few times. Oh, unfortunately, the C. Jarvis is down for Sahana as well. Front rail. Oof. My goodness me. She has done unbelievably well to stay on board there. Oof. I mean, she's cantering along here, looking like barely anything has happened, but that was really quite dramatic. Just a bit of a miscommunication, I think, coming through to the double. But she was through the poles, so it looks like she's just going to reapproach to the through the flags, excuse me. So just reapproaching to the last, and gets the job done. Quite a costly score of 46, but absolutely incredible to sit to that and to stay in the saddle. Hugely impressive from Sahana Ganasan. Charlotte Jacobs is on course now with Korbak van der Renge. So Charlotte ranks 102nd on the Longines world list. Horses owned by North Star Horses. Korbak is 10 years old by Calestus. An instrumental part of her team on the Major League circuit. Jumped in Traverse City at the World Cup leg for 16th. Training with Kent Farrington now, who very much knows what is required to get the job done here tonight. She was also part of the winning 3-Star Nations Cup team at Traverse City in the summer of this year. Took on this ride in February. Again, lots of riders really having a look, or their horses really having a look at fence 11. There's a water tray beneath there and it's eye-catching. Oh, that's such a shame. She really, there again, had to push for that forward distance to the final fence, but the penultimate's gone for Charlotte Jacobs. Just the 4, with 14th her position. Really unfortunate. Not much wrong there. Just couldn't quite keep it all the way through. A real pity. So continuing with our US riders, we go to Michaela Langmair now with Mimosa van der Rollebeek. Michaela then, another under 25 rider, 12th on that world list. So 166th on the world list. Thirteenth in the World Cup at Traverse City. Contested a few legs last year, but no. Again, it's fence 7. Again, it's the back rail. It's coming away from the in gate. It's on that short stride distance that they're anticipating. Well, she clears the last, just with a little bit to add for time. 73.6 is the time on the clock. And Michaela Langmair and Mimosa van der Rollebeek come home with that total score then of 10. We welcome Lucy Davis Kennedy now with Ben 431. Wonderful to see this pair in action. We were lucky enough to see them here last year, where they actually finished 15th in the World Cup qualifier, just a pole down. Once again, it's the first fence. Oh, agonizing. And these first fences keep going down. It really has fallen a good few times. A 5th and a 6th in Del Mar in August with Ben. And the World Cup here was actually her last World Cup. It was part of the winning 5-Star Nations Cup team in Dublin back in 2024 with this ride as well. Of course, he was an incredible partner for Gerrit Nieberg. Won the 5-Star Grand Prix of Aachen with Gerrit. Well, unfortunately, not quite the day for Lucy Davis Kennedy. 12 on the board for her score. She's into 36th place. We welcome Natalie Dean next with Pedro van der Barlebuis. Natalie, 109th on the Longines World List. Last week competed in Wellington for third in the 3-star Grand Prix with Con Calma. Also travelled to Rabat on the LGCT circuit. And this horse was successful on that series with the Brazilian rider Mariana Frauches Chavez, 9th in their Grand Prix in Monaco. Mariana also took this horse as part of the 3rd place team at the Longines EEF Nations Cup Series semi-final in Deauville. Plenty of good results, but unfortunately that horseflight upright, it's a very airy looking fence with the white poles, has gone. Really going quite forward into 11, bit too pacey, and the front rail is down. Two down then in total for Nathalie Dean and that talented new, relatively new partner, Pedro van der Barlebuis. Score of 8, of course.
A 6th-place finish, $125,000 three-star Grand Prix just last week. 32 international wins and nearly 700 international starts for the Canadian. Ali Ramsey and Bonita Van Kaiseroff.
We welcome Ali Ramsey next then. For Canada with Bonita Van Het Kaisershof Z, and oh my goodness, agonizingly, it's the first fence again. This is a really serious combination. It's so frustrating to have the first fence down, now fence 3, unfortunately for Ali. She now goes carefully at the horse flight. Oh, no, this is very uncharacteristic. She is holding on very, very well there. Oh, what a pity. Well, it just takes another fence on the way out then, and Ali Ramsey opts to retire here this afternoon, or this evening, I ought to say, with Bonita Van Het Kaisershof Z. Not quite their day today, unfortunately. We turn to Portugal for your next competitor, Luis Sabinho Gonçalves. This was Scoop de Septembre Z. Horse is an 11-year-old gelding, a Zangerscheider, out of a stallion called Hunter's Sendro. Luis ranks 125th at the moment. second in last week's 3-star Grand Prix here. Brilliant double clear. And fantastic jump off time. Of course, that was taken, the title was taken by Nicola Philipparts last week. This pair were also fourth in the World Cup at Traverse City in September. And had lots of top 10 finishes and lots of podiums as well at WEC in the early part of the year. Well, they'll be home inside the time then, but just a single pole for Luis Sabino Gonçalves. We'll put him into 16th place, which is certainly a very respectable performance in the caliber and the size of this field. Portuguese rider into 16th. We turn then to Jessica Springsteen for your next competitor, of course hailing from the USA. Jessica brings forward Naomi Van Het Kaisershoff. It's combination 1, the 2-star welcome in Tryon last month, and they were 9th in the 2-star Grand Prix. She won the 2-phase here last year with Naomi. And now once again, another rider who's been caught out by fence 1. Hugely unlucky. Real pity. Go through the tricky double. It's come down a few times. It's very delicate for sure. There, she's a little close to that tricky oxer, but that as a distance works well for her with Naomi. She does know this horse very well. It took a 3-star speed win in Armenia. Part of the Highlands Horse Show, of course, 2 weeks of great action there. She also took a 4-star speed win in Valkenswaard with Naomi. She's particularly good against the clock. No, too deep at 11. Conditions are getting tricky here. The rain this evening has been quite relentless. Hasn't phased, of course, the 10 that will come back to the jump off, but Jessica Springsteen is home with a score of 12 this evening. We are into the final section. Just 7 remain on our order. And Aaron Vale will be the next of them. A few more for the USA. So Aaron, world number 39, brings forward Carissimo 25. Aaron Vale then just taking his time to present for the first fence. '20th in Toronto, 17th in Washington on the World Cup Series. very forward there. Carissimo really can get those front legs out of the way very easily. This was the combination that won the 5-star Grand Prix in Dinard back in July. Also had a win in Devon in May. Very strong here. Time allowed could be slightly problematic though for Aaron Vale. 72 seconds to get home. He's still got a fence to go. Let's hope he can make it, but no, just touches the back rail as well. He's just outside the time. So unfortunately, 5 is his total score. All right, well, 6 remain on our list, and we welcome Jamie Saylor next for the USA. Jamie's mount is Magic Mike. He is 16 years old. Oh, and that's so unfortunate. This is happening quite frequently now. The first fence goes. Long way around this 13-strong track, and fence 3 down as well. I've actually seen that combination a couple of times. 1 and 13 both going for the same rider. Jamie's been competing this horse since about March of this year. Former ride for Carol Wright, who brought this horse to the World Cup qualifier here last year. Finished 35th. Oh, it's a really great performance for Jamie Saylor, really good efforts, but she will head into 40th place with 12 penalties as her score. Charlie Jones interview here, British competitor with Capital 6. Charlie in the world's top 200. Won his last FEI class with this horse. It was a 2-star class at Spruce Meadows. Also podiumed there. So had a first and a second. A couple of seconds recently in Vancouver as well. Performed well at Spruce Meadows too. And what a pity. You really had to reach over the first racing Oxa. And it goes at the back rail. Just stands off the fence. A very difficult lines between these, very difficult distances, a very technical track, of course, set by Anderson Lima and his team. Charlie also having wins in a 4-star Grand Prix in Vancouver in May of this year with this ride. Unfortunately, the blue-coloured double causes him an issue. Good for the time, 70.7. However, 2 fences for Charlie Jones will drop him into 32nd place. All right, well, 4 remain now on our order. 3 for the USA, 1 for Canada. We still sit with 10 qualifying for our jump off. Some very strong competitors early on in this class. Remember, it's not only about qualifying for the World Cup leg on Saturday, it's also about getting a good position, as well as whoever finishes last in this qualifying competition, or finishes first, excuse me, will be able to go last in the draw on Saturday. And that, of course, very much of benefit to see how the course is riding. Skylar Wyman is ready for the off here with Cielo. Skylar going very solidly here. What a talented young rider she is. Oh, that's such a shame. Just that second element there. She was just perhaps anticipating that forward line. 7th ranked under 25 rider in the world, 103rd on the world list. She was 2nd in the World Cup in Toronto. Just a rub there and a second fence there. What a pity. Knew exactly what she needed to do for time, but 2 fences then for Skylar Wyman and Cielo into 35th place. Super talented young rider. Very much hope to see her on Saturday night. Of course, as I mentioned, she was 2nd in the World Cup leg in Toronto. And not only are they going for the positions in the individual legs, by the way, they're also going for points to qualify them for the World Cup final, which of course takes place in Fort Worth in 2026. April will be the month. And yes, Fort Worth will be the stage for that World Cup final. Should be a fantastic event. Melody Liu also comes forward for the USA now with Napoleon van den Daal. Great 4th place in the C. Jarvis Insurance Welcome last week. Couple down in the Grand Prix, but solid performances. Had a good 3rd in Del Mar in August. And a good 2nd and 3rd at Spruce Meadows. But no, the golden double. She's heading towards the in gate and bit flat bent through the combination. Big shot at the Horseflight Oxer. Really stood off that, but no problem. Oh, very short distance for her, but again, her horse here, Napoleon, really helped her out, really got his legs out of the way of the pole. Riding this very accurately. Really nice shot there at 11. Just coming out in perfectly straight down this final line and very good on the time. Super speedy round. So Melody Liu is home and dry. Well, home in any case, with a score of 4 and a time of 67.8. It does mean then that she will go into 13th place. She's your fastest 4-faulter at this stage. Hilary Scott sits 11th, Connor Swale in 12th. Those two just with 2 time penalties apiece. Following our jump-off contenders, Melody Liu will go into 13th with the fastest falter that we have had. Emmeline Adamic is up next with Sidiam de Santan. Another young rider here. Couple of very strong horses. Jumped the North American Youth Championships this year to be on the gold medal winning team. Oh, fence one again. That has become a real problem, fence on course. And two has gone as well, unfortunately, for your NAYC team gold medalist. Also picked up a bronze medal in the pre-juniors back in 2022 at that championships. Well, Sidiam de Sandan is 13 years old, gelding by Diamond de Semi, owned by Hawk Hollow Farm. Solid results over the last couple of years for them, coming at Spruce Meadows and in Thermal primarily. A little bit on the steady side as well. And so 18 the score for Emmeline Adamic into 48th spot. Looking, of course, for the top 40 to qualify. We just have one rider remaining on our list then, and he's interviewed through our in-gate, very striking looking in-gate, of course, at this Split Rock Santa Anita show. Braden James is your last to go. He represents Canada. And Braden's mount is Canandine. As the name might suggest, this horse is by Canan, but is a 10-year-old mare. Very bold through these first couple of fences. Though Braden James looks like a man on a mission here. He wants to become the 11th clear. Number 10 are qualified. He is so incredibly quick with this horse. So certainly a bold choice around such a technical track. Podiums in Spruce Meadows in the past. Didn't compete this horse in 2024. And you just get the impression that he really trusts Canandine, really knows how this horse goes best. Oh, what a shame. I'll speak to you soon. The pace just a bit too much for the delicate upright, and then, of course, the following fence as well has a knock-on effect. So it means that we will have 10 come back. Quick time, 68.03, but 20 is the score on the board for Braden James and Canandine. So into 49th place, and looking like it's going to be tricky for them to qualify for that World Cup leg. We're looking for the top 40 to return, really. But crucially, this evening, we do have our top 10, our 10 jump-off contenders. What an impressive list they are. The world number 1, Kent Farrington, is there. Laura Kraut, world number 8, also on the list. McLean Ward, world number 11. Carl Cook, last year's World Cup winner. Gregory Watherley at 15 in the world. Nina Malave in 17th in the world, and the leading under 25 rider in the world as well. And plenty of other strong contenders as well to go up against them. So 10 have qualified for the jump off in this $100,000 5-star welcome competition. A hugely exciting class so far. We've just completed round 1. We will be taking a short break now. It's just over 10 minutes in length, but we very much look forward to bringing you the jump off just as soon as the arena has been prepared. A quick spin around the fences. They'll tackle fence 5 first, and then they'll go back to 1 and 2 from the first round. 9A and B, so that tricky blue double that you see immediately in front of you. And we'll go to fence 10. And following that, we travel to fence 6, and then a new fence at 15, which will be 8 as an oxer. So we'll take a look at that as our first competitors tackle this jump off. We'll be back in just over 10 minutes time for the final showdown of this $100,000 welcome stake.
It's all about Knicks go.
Yes, average arena. Yes.
equestrian in the world. We offer worldwide coverage for all aspects of equine insurance, including covering racehorses, show horses, race competitors, and groomers, even with full license in the U.S. and all EU countries. We own and operate our family of horses as the hope and give back to our horse community, so you can rest assured that we'll never cross the line and we'll look out for you every step of the way. Time to protect what truly matters. E. Jarvis Insurance.
And they're off in the Pegasus World Cup. It's all about Knicks Go. What a horse!
the winner share of $100,000. In to welcome all these riders already qualified for the weekend on Saturday. Best of luck to them on the weekend competition. But of course, first things first, let's get back underway. First of 7 to see in the jump off. As we welcome the first to go clear as the first rider in the ring, returning for Belgium, Gregory Waffele and Argentina de la Marchette.
To go in round one and gave us the first of our 10 clears. And his mount, Argentina de la Marchette. He's already had 5-star wins with this horse. And he circles their background to fence one. Oof! Had to chip in, unfortunately, to the second fence, fence two. Safely through the double. That would have cost him some time. Over to 10. Now has to roll back to the horse flight upright, takes it on the angle. And then 6. Excuse me, that was 6, and then fence 15. Now an Oxer there on the far side of the arena to finish. It's a great double clear for Gregory Waffele, but has he left the door open a tiny bit? Had to chip in there to that first racing Oxer. Rather difficult to name that one. First Oxer, the first racing Oxer, came as the third fence in this jump-off course. But crucially, Gregory Waffele's time is 36:59, and he is double clear. McLean Ward is next to go here. Another incredible competitor, world number 11, part of that silver medal winning US Olympic team just last year at the Paris Olympic Games. And First Lady is a super talented partner for him, and this combination can really go for it against the clock. He is off at some pace, setting out as he means to go on, as he tackles that split rock Oxer to kick things off. Now McLean keeping moving, a little bit holding the first racing Oxer. Now left-handed swing to that blue double. Gets through there smoothly. But looks like he's down. Yes, half a second down on the time. That's super quick though. Very good turn back. Again, just fractionally lost the time a little bit there. 36:59 to beat then. And a little bit holding at the last as well. So McLean Ward comes home with a time of 37:35. That will put him into second place with First Lady. What a talented pair they are. But Gregory Waffele eyes up another 5-star win with Argentina de la Marchette. We hear that Carl Cook has withdrawn from tonight's jump-offs, perhaps saving Caracol de la Roque for later in the week. Of course, they'll be defending their title on Saturday night. But prepared for the weather is Irishman Michael Duffy with B Sky Hawk as your next starter. Michael, world number 157. Moves forward his 9-year-old here, but they've had plenty of very good results together. Part of that winning Helios team at the last major league leg in Tryon. Michael has a time to beat here of 36:59. And you need to be galloping to beat that for sure. What is his approach going to be? Smooth over to fence one. And again, just kept the pace coming down that line. Not necessarily rushing, but certainly not taking too much of a pull. Makes this left-handed turn. Now the roll back, he's a little bit off the pace as well, but that's a very good turn. Now just the final fence to go. It's 36:59 to beat, and Michael Duffy is going for this. Not quite quick enough though. About half a second slower in the end. 37:13 for Michael Duffy and B Sky Hawk. It is faster than McLean Ward, however, and so Michael Duffy slots into second place and drops the Olympic silver medalist into third place. Or some cheers going up from the crowd. Some great support for your next starter, Vanessa Mannix, Canadian competitor with Carmela Z. Couple of Canadians to come in this jump off. Vanessa has a couple of horses here this week who are fantastic long-term partners for her. She knows them so well, and you can see she's just eyeing up her lines. Tough time to beat though, 36.59. Belgium leading, Canada taking the charge now. Goes on the angle at 5. And no, she did just look a little bit cautious there. Sadly, the fence down, first fence down in our jump off. Quietly through there, getting a bit off the pace as well. But now with a fence down and 3 double clears ahead of her, Vanessa Mannix is wisely making the decision to not race too much here. Comes home safely though, 40.41 on the clock, but a single fence falls when Vanessa Mannix slots into 4th place with Carmela Z. We remain with Canada now for your next competitor, Kyle Tim with Glamour du Chanu. Still the time to beat, 36.59. This pair looked very impressive in round 1. Again, another 9-year-old. They really did look impressive. And so for Canada then, it's over to Kyle Tim. It's quite nice and measured to that first fence, but this is very quick. Really picked up the pace between those first 2 obstacles. And again, keeping coming to that very bold looking black and white fence. It's eye-catching and they really do give it a lot of height. Standing off the fence a bit. Off the pace though. Nearly 2 seconds off. It was a good inside line. Oh my goodness. Edge of your seat kind of stuff here. 36.59 was the time to beat. Kyle Tim isn't quite going to get there. 39.60 is his time. That's only good enough for 4th, and just goes to show how fast these competitors were prior to that. Gregory Watherley at the top of the leaderboard with Argentina de la Marchette. Well, we welcome Nina Malave next. Nina with Dynastie de Beaufort, leading under 25 rider in the world, ranked 17th on the Longines world ranking. The young rider for France, aiming to knock Gregory Watherley off the top spot. World number 17 going up against world number 15 here. Serious caliber in this competition. And in this week, takes a stride out to the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup fence. What a talent she is. Keeps an efficient line here into the double. Yeah, very good. Split time looks, oh, very tight indeed. 0.05 of a second. And she really gets that to roll back very, very well. 36.59 to beat. Nina Malave is galloping for the last. Has she got there? No, not quite. Ah, so close though. She looks up at the board. She will head into 2nd place. And your leading under 25 rider in the world still can't quite better Gregory Watherley's time, and he will still hold the lead. Well, we hear also that Laura Kraut has withdrawn from today's jump off again. She is saving her mount Bisquetta for later in the week. And we have just a couple left on our list. Stella Wasserman, the next of them, coming forward here with her top ride, Precious Divershagen. Seriously bred horse. Cornet Obolensky and Casal. She's got some great horses in her string at the moment. And she looks like she has her sights set on the top spot here. Big task ahead of her. But she's bold. Great shot there. So through the double safely. Stella Wasserman. Down on the time though. She's set off at some pace. Good spin back. And got the rhythm once again. 36.59, remember the time to beat. She won't quite get there though. And 39.02 is the time again. She looks at the board, probably with some of the pace she had, a little disappointed or surprised not to be closer to that leading time. Competition as well, so he will not come forward. So 3 withdrawing, Carl Cook, Laura Kraut, Kent Farrington, all saving their mounts for later in the week. And therefore it does mean that the win tonight goes to Gregory Wathelet. That incredible performance, 36.59, an unbeatable time. And of course his mount, Argentina de la Marchette. Nina Malave will be your second place rider with Dynastie de Beaufort. Valiant effort from her, 37.08. She got close as she could, but has to settle for second. Third place goes to Michael Duffy with B-Sky Hawk, 37.13. Only 0.05 of a second separating those two. McLean Ward takes fourth with First Lady. Stella Wasserman fifth with Precious Divershagen. Vanessa Mannix there just with a single pole in sixth behind Stella Wasserman and Kyle Tim. Well, huge congratulations to our top 10 competitors, and of course none more so than Gregory Wathelet and Argentina de la Marchette. First to go in round one, first to go in the jump off, but stuck to his plan, and he's come out on top. But the action, of course, does not stop there. If you've missed any of tonight's class, you can watch it back in the Clip My Horse archive. So do go back and have a look at some of this competition. It was certainly a very exciting one. And tomorrow, we'll be bringing you the 5-star speed challenge. That kicks off at 1:45 p.m. local time. So local time, of course, Pacific time. And Saturday sees perhaps the biggest day of action. We will have a 5-star 2-round class earlier in the day, but crucially, the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup will take place at 6 p.m. local time. $400,000 on the line for that class. As ever, we will leave you with the prize-giving ceremony. Very much look forward to joining you tomorrow for another fantastic day of 5-star action. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to joining you tomorrow.